Candice, I'd like to ask you about one of your projects. I'm gonna dare to say it's your legacy project, right? For one of them, and this is the Leasing Academy that you started. I want for you to share with us the story and how this started and came to life and became what it is today. How you went from like being in property management on the operations side to actually create this from scratch. Everything. I'd love for you to share that story with us.
Yes, no, it's a good story because believe it or not, people are always asking me these days, like, how can I get into training? Because multifamily, one of our challenges is we career path people. And if you can imagine, I probably was never born to be a property manager anyway. I realized in about 2017 that I was about 2017, 2017, 2018 that I was passionate about people and I really wanted to start training. And the company that I was with at the time didn't really have a space for me to be able to train. I kind of reached out and, I was a pretty good property manager and was more encouraged to stay on that end. And so what I did was I went to the association and was like, I want to teach. I was already involved. And surprisingly, they were like, please teach. And so I remember creating my first class, really knowing nothing, using Google, using things I had seen over the last 15 years or so. And so I started teaching for the association once to twice a year for free. Okay, I think that's important because I do get this question a lot. But in fact, I didn't know the association would pay for my print materials. So I used to go pay myself to print out my materials and teach classes for free because I wanted to do it so bad. So even when I was a property manager, and I ended up moving on to another company. When I took that job, I said, are you still okay with me training for the association? Absolutely. And so I continued to train for the association and also be involved with I didn't think, this is so important, I didn't worry about the money. It wasn't about me making money. It was about me doing what I love. And I always believed and still believe that when you do what you love, money will start to chase you. And so I continued to train while I was working, while I was a property manager. I cannot lie. There were countless nights where I was up late because I still had a full-time job. And probably about 3 years ago, I was at an education committee meeting and the person who worked at the association said, they're talking about this Leasing Training Academy and I don't know if it's going to happen. And so I was honest, like, hey, if that's ever a thing, I want that job. And so then I went to my boss now and told him, if this ever really happens, I want that job. There were a lot of moving pieces because of funding, et cetera. And so then randomly I get a call. I'll never forget. I'm in Virginia. And my boss now, who was my mentor then and still is, called me and was like, look, I think we're going to be able to pull this off. Are you on board? How much do you need? And, just like that, about 6 to 8 months later, I was officially offered a position. However, Adrian, this is the good part that you were kind of asking about. Because nothing like this had been done before, ahead of time, before I accepted the position, he asked me to write a scope. He asked me to write a scope of everything that this training should entail. And so I had the chance in January of 2021 to kind of sit down and write everything that I thought was missing. And I looked at all the learning gaps I saw over the years from leasing people who were successful. And so when I was hired on, I used that as an outline and essentially took about 4 months to write 28 different classes, touching on everything that you would expect, like your phone and fair housing and tour, to more intricate things that I think were lacking, to aura training, social media training, soft skills training. And I really used I don't want to say expertise, but my experience as a hiring manager to think, what would I be looking for if I'm hiring someone who knew nothing? So what it looked like was me, some days just writing all day. Other days I would block out and could not capture my thoughts as well as I wanted to. And I may just walk a couple miles until the curriculum came to me. And at the same time, launch a recruitment campaign and grassroots marketing So I was just calling people, hey, I'm a Baltimore girl. I'm going to be in Prince George's County. Who should I know? And so, I use my relationships, existing relationships, to be able to meet more people, to draw attention to the program. And just like that, it kind of happened. So I always tell the classes, the Leasing Training Academy was really a labor of love. And I mean that because I wrote every single piece that is facilitated there from my heart. And in fact, I must say, in all fairness, as a property manager, I was in a position where I was happy. I was well paid. I felt like the organization I worked for actually respected and valued me and treated me well. It just wasn't my passion. So I took all the passion I had and put it into what I knew I could be good at. I just needed somebody to give me a chance to be a trainer. And now I'm kind of like a real trainer.